And welcome back to the hot stage. We are talking our WRC driver rankings, ratings, whatever you want to call it. Who did well and who did not, who was hot, who was, let's be fair, very, very cold in terms of what was a massive weekend for that World Championship. And, if I'm honest, some of these driver ratings might surprise you a bit. So this was the final result. If you've been asleep this whole weekend, hopefully not, it was Seb Ogier leading Elvin Evans by just 11 seconds. Formo 46, sorry, 60, where'd I get that from? 46.5 seconds behind. Neuville just about a minute behind, minus a second. Piari, very, very close, wasn't he? 103.4. And then Kelly Rovanperä, what happened to him? 1 minute 35.7. Katsuta, nearly 2.25 minutes down. Gregor Monza, 2.75 minutes down. And it was Oliver Solberg, the old WRC2 champion, but we're not talking about Solberg. We did a whole video. And let's be fair, we're going to be doing many more about Oliver Solberg. But this is the current standings now. The next round is round number 12, the Central European Rally on the 16th and 19th of October. I digress. Ogier then leads on 224. Evans was leading, not anymore, just by 2 points, 222. Rovanperä on 203, Tanak on 181. That top four is probably, one of those top four is going to be your world champion. Neuville then on 166 and 5th. Katsuta 6th on 94 points. Formo 7th on 86. 8th Piari on 70. Solberg 60. And Monster on 25. Solberg in 9th. He's beating, it's just... what can I say? Now, let's move then to our driver rankings. And now we've got through that, shall we? Let's keep our fingers crossed. So, did your favourite driver make it? Did your favourite driver not so much? I guess we're most certainly going to have to see for WRC Chile. So, who was, in our opinion anyway, the worst? This is going to be controversial. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Calais. I really like you. I think you're one of the best drivers. But that mistake he made early on, for a double world champion and arguably the favourite, if not one of the favourites, coming into the 2025 World Rally Championship, and he messed it up. He messed it up in the beginning, and it never really recovered from there, did he? He was looking so fast, but it shows you how one mistake can absolutely change everything, and how one mistake can potentially, when you look back, change a championship. Stand up Octanic, but we'll get to you in a minute. But yeah, I'm sorry, he just can't afford that now. And when he looks back, if he doesn't win the World Championship and he loses it by a handful of points, you lose it over a whole season, I know, but I can't help but thinking he's going to look back to this and wonder what if. Next up, we've got McLaren. Josh, yeah, he was very unlucky with the car, but then when you make a mistake and take out several farmers' posts, what can you really expect? Yeah, it's a hard rally. Someone's going to do it. Someone's got to be last. It wasn't you, but you weren't far off. Sadly, Josh McLaren. But still, you're still amazing. You're still amazing. I still think he's having a fairly solid, not spectacular, but fairly solid rookie year. Next up, we have this guy here. I'm sorry, Katsuta. I am really, really sorry. You finished 7th, and it's not good. Just not good enough again, isn't it? It really isn't. For Takamoto Katsuta, I hope in the next 2 or 3 rallies, particularly Japan. Imagine now, if he wins Japan, I will eat a humble pie, whatever it's made out of, live to tape or whatever, live on air. Talking about how great Katsuta is, and I will, if Katsuta wins in Japan, I'm going to write a poem while eating the humble pie on how great this man is. I don't think that's going to happen, which is a shame because I really, really like him. I think he's such a character. He's so nice in interviews. I love his co-driver. I want him to do well, and it's so frustrating. How many times do we see the potential of doing well and then not? And this year, you could make an argument that overall it's been no better than last year. It seems that he's got to this stage, and I hope he hasn't plateaued, but I'm starting to think maybe he has. Yeah. So next up is Gregor Monster. he beats the others simply because I think he made probably less mistakes. Yes, he was beaten by Katsuta, not by an amazing amount. Well, about half, 30 seconds odd. You kind of expect Katsuta to beat him more by that, though, really, don't you? But there we go. That's Gregor Monster. Captain Bang Average. Now, after that, the next lot, I think it did really, really, really well. It was really hard to completely place them. So next up, Piari, the man that finished in 5th. I mean, Cali finished 6th. We put him last. Savage, I know. But the man that finished 5th, I think, bearing in mind, he looked really fast at one point, didn't he? He was looking good. I think he even had a stage win. And he only finished a handful of seconds off Terry Neuville, who was struggling in himself. To be fair, he beat Calais over in Para because he didn't make the mistake as well. Calais just couldn't get anywhere near him. He beat Calais in the end by plus 35 seconds. And it was one of the few rallies this year where we saw the WRC 2 from 2024 champion do well. Keep it up, Sari. Next up, we've got the man that finished in 4th. It is Terry Neuville, who I think he just couldn't get a grip of that machinery like Tanak did, and like at times Formo did. He was catching Formo, I think, wasn't he? He wasn't that far in the end away from Formo, but I think you've got to blame as much Hyundai as you do Neuville, because essentially both Tanak and Adrian Formo were faster than Terry Neuville, and this guy was the 2024 world champ. You have to start asking what's going on. What is going on in Hyundai? And at one point on the Friday, it was a Hyundai 1-2-3. You got to ask what happened, and we know why it wasn't a 1-2-3, because of this man here, who I put 4th best, probably even you could make an argument for 3rd or 2nd on our driver rankings podium, but our Tanak engine, bad luck. And then when he came back, even though the engine was a bit busted, he was doing really well again. He was so fast. And the sad thing is this, sometimes he's fast and he makes a mistake, but this time he didn't make a mistake. He was fast, and it was the car that let him down. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. He may well have won this. He had the speed to win it. I think anyone in the top 4, including this guy, had the speed to win in Chile. It was just sad he didn't. So on to the podium. Not an amazing surprise. 3rd, Adrian Formo. I was so excited for him, leading into going into Saturday, leading at the end of Friday. Could he win his first rally? Even in the preview, we were talking about the fact that can Adrian Formo win his first rally? Sadly, the answer was no. As we now know, by 46.5 seconds, a massive margin for someone, to be fair, that was leading. Again, I think you've got to point it somewhat towards Toyota, somewhat not Toyota, but yeah, Toyota being awesome, but somewhat towards Hyundai, just not getting maybe the Saturn right or something quite wrong. So this might be slightly controversial, but I'm going for OJ in 2nd. And I'm not Welsh, by the way. But yeah, the reason why I think OJ is in 2nd, both him and Evans did that really impressive. OJ seemed to fall asleep at the beginning and just wasn't particularly on it at all, really, in the first few, and then did a really amazing job to close the gap and kind of like extend it. With all his experience, Sabaji, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't the comeback of Paraguay, but it was still very good. But I don't think it was as good as Evans, and here's why. So coming into the weekend, I've always said one of Evans' biggest weakness was the pressure. Okay? Also, it was, making mistakes or not just being fast enough, playing it too safe maybe. What really helped Evans was the rain. He is the WRC rain master, I think. He's really talented in the rain, to the point where it'd be really interesting now if it rains either in Japan or Central Europe or both. I mean, Central Europe it could do, it's the season. Japan, with October time, it is the season for rain. So I'll be excited. So in terms of that, I think Elfyn Evans did a really, really solid job. And once again, one of his best rallies overall. I think this is one of his best rallies he hasn't won this year. He finished 2nd, only 11 seconds behind OJ. He didn't let it get to him. There weren't any silly mistakes. He wasn't trying too hard. He wasn't playing it safe. He did a really, really solid job. And the fact that he was leading going into this, at times he didn't have the best road position, but then at times he didn't have a bad one. And I think compared to OJ, he did really, really well. If he drives like that, he doesn't need to beat OJ. And I do think that might be an uphill battle from now. But I think when you look at the season as a whole, in particular this rally, and the way he held on and led the rally at times, there is most certainly hope for Elfyn Evans. And I would love, as much as I'd like OJ to get the 9th, I'd like even more Elfyn Evans to get his first. That would be fantastic for him. It would just be brilliant, because he was our favourite last year, and he was just nowhere, wasn't he, at the end? And then he kind of like woke up towards the end of last year and started doing really, really well. But Elfyn Evans is our driver of Chile. Well done, Elfyn. So moving on from that, I'm now in the Formula One. What am I doing? No, let's go back to the hot stage. Burn! Here we go. So, moving on from that then, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end, please consider a subscribe. That would be absolutely amazing if you did want to subscribe. That'll make me smile. But until then, you just watching it. This is more than enough for us. Thank you very much. We'll speak to you soon, and above all else, stay safe.